Triplefour.
Let's talk about it. Okay, Triplefour podcast.
Yeah, he said this dude makes a meatwad fucking thing for no reason. Then he says Jim Norton.
Bob Dylan I find personally obnoxious, but the Beatles destroyed culture.
Oh my god.
I got Elon Musk to smoke weed in my Tesla the other day. That's not even a big fucking deal.
Things are crazy right now. You don't know shit, do you? We really didn't.
You know, you can't always get what you want, but you'll find sometimes that if you try,
you just might get it.
Oh, you get it!
Welcome to the Triplefour podcast, episode 47. This is a podcast you can stream anywhere, not just Spotify. You can check it out on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, whatever that's called. Spotify, Breaker, Stitcher, Streamer, Beamer, Lighter,
Grindr,
Anchor, Grindr FM. Not exclusive to Spotify, this podcast, just another reason why we are the number 2 podcast in the entire world. As usual, it's the usual cast. You got me, Chocolate Software, aka Walreek. We also have Josh.
I'm somewhere else now. I took my break from last week. I saw My Spy. Didn't like it, just being real. I knew that going in. That's why no one's at the theater, because no one wants to see My Spy. But, Pee-wee came back. He came through for me. Paul, he said, hey, I'm sorry again. I fucked up. But I did my thing. Took me a little bit longer, but I have a connection. His name is Michael Schur, friend of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you know what? I think I can get you on the set of The Office. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm 76% Jim, so this works for me.
And as usual, we have Maddie Bowen.
I'm just in my childhood home this week, so.
Until next week.
When she's in jail.
For doing some crazy shit in her fucking childhood home.
Yeah, things are about to be nuts, so. Gonna be in the clink next week.
We also have somebody else.
What's up? I brought my new friend Giuseppe with me. He just wanted to see how this, how we do. I don't think he can stay long though. Oh, I'm Nick Wandersea.
Oh, great. Thanks for clearing that up.
Thanks, Giuseppe. Whatever.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. Today, I was tested for COVID-19. Hello. Play the Corona theme. Start. Okay.
Thanks, Scarch.
So you have it.
Yeah.
Things are crazy right now.
Is it just me, or is it getting crazier out there?
Because
Things are crazy right now.
I got the test. I got the nose swab.
Drive-by nose swab?
Huh?
Drive-by
it was a
swab?
drive-by nose swab. So this is a part of the going back to work process. And let me tell you, this was a surreal encounter. I was given a piece of paper to fill out my information, and then drove around, pulled up next to this nurse who was sitting next to a table. She was wearing a mask, but she was, just kind of on her phone, chilling, checking the Insta. And I pull up, hand her the papers, and she goes, "Are you from around here?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I'm from Mississippi. Do you know of a place called The Landing? It's like kind of like a miniature Bourbon Street kind of situation, like somewhere around here? And I was like, no, I've never heard of that. There's Main Street. Go down over there. He's like, no. And then points over towards Streets of St. Charles. And she's like, is that what you're talking about? No. There are bars and stuff down there, but she's like trying to describe this like bar scene, this nightlife she wants to go like clubbing or something later. Apparently the Landing is a place that was really popping in the 80s downtown by the Arch. And this woman from Mississippi really wanted to know where this was. And then another woman walks up. She goes, this is going to be kind of unpleasant. And then she stuck the swab in my nose. And it wasn't that bad. It didn't go all the way back like to my skull or whatever, or at least that's what I was expecting, that it was going to go super deep into my face. But no, it was just kind of like it got in there. It got, was not, just a quick rooting around in the sinus, and it wasn't pleasant. It burned a little bit. It kind of felt like I was bleeding on the inside, but they said it would be 24 to 48 hours before I got results, but there was no place on the paper to put like my email or anything. So I don't know if I'm ever going to actually find out what my results are unless they're negative. So safe to say things are pretty crazy right now.
Is that the same urgent care that's like near, the police station?
No, this was done at my place of employment.
Oh, okay.
In the entrance area. I was in my car, so everybody drove around. Yeah, and then they just came got me with the
there you go.
Just a quick sinus stab, and then I said, "Get out of here." No, I got a call. The other day. I was still asleep. He left a voicemail. It was somebody I had never heard of. He didn't say what department he worked in. The voicemail was, "Hello, this is Mike Smith from work, and please call me back at your earliest convenience. This is regarding your employment. So please call me back." And that was it. And I was like, "Oh, I'm getting laid off." I was like certain that I was about to be fired. And then I called him back, and he basically said the opposite. He said, "They're not even calling everybody back, but I am one who's apparently, gets that awesome opportunity to go hang out in a highly foot trafficked restaurant entertainment venue." But yeah, so I guess on Friday it's going to be a 2-hour training session on, germs or whatever. And then
germs. Have you heard of them?
Yeah. And then
have you seen these? Do you know about these?
They're pretty small. And then they said they are trying to open first week of June, and that I would go back even before then to do a deep clean of the restaurant and restock stuff, which is actually the part I'm looking forward to the least, because I hate that. I hate deep cleaning stuff, even though it's very necessary.
Just put the whole fucking restaurant through the car wash. What the hell's going on?
Seriously.
Toss it in there.
Lay it all down.
You get the rainbow soap that looks pretty cool when you're in the car. Perfect.
Exactly. Just go ahead and spray the walls with that stuff.
You get the pressure washer, and you get to just straight soak in the chairs.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Yeah.
Are you excited to go back to work?
Absolutely not. They have removed tables and chairs from the restaurant. So we only had 20 tables beforehand, and we have 4 servers and 2 bartenders. So it's going to be incredibly competitive. I'm probably going to have like 2 to 3 tables tops or something. So I'm going to be probably making a lot less money than I used to. And it's just like, I get, that we need to start being in a society again and jumpstart the economy and all that jazz. But it's just like, there's like not a lot of incentive for me here. So it's unsafe and I'm going to be making less money. So, job security. Welcome to America. Speaking of which,
fun.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It is hilarious. Speaking of hilarious, already talked to Nick about this, but they are having Shane Gillis at the Helium Comedy Club, St. Louis, soon, June 4th or something.
Yeah, like running around there.
Yeah, and I just feel like so put in a spot because it's like we actually bought tickets to another show thinking he was going to be on the bill, and it was canceled because of COVID. And now here we are. It's him as a headliner and everything. We want to see this guy perform, but now, I don't know. I don't really feel safe going to a big performance venue or anything right now, even though, they listed some COVID precautions and everything, but I don't buy it really. Like, I got my hair cut this week and I was able to check in online. There was a sign at the door that said, "Stop, don't come in unless you have a mask." There was hand sanitizer ready to go. I was the only person in there, like that I felt okay with. It's still like, it's difficult to keep a distance, it's not very feasible, especially if you're considering something like a comedy club. It's a very small room.
I feel like it's feasible depending on how they have it set up. Like, if it's like you walk in, you sit down at a table and all of the tables are far enough apart, or all the chairs are set up so that they're a ways apart, then it's maybe a more controlled environment, as opposed to if it's pile into this building and please stand 6 feet apart. Okay, watch the show.
My issue would be the getting into the building, because there is only one, it's like a single file entrance, and you have to stand there at the the ticket booth, and everybody's hanging out in that little bar area beforehand. That's where I would be a little more uncomfortable.
It's not the best idea, and I feel like the only thing that anybody can really do to aid this whole process just going faster and getting over sooner is just to not do stuff like this, and this connects with what was national news today or not today, but this past few days about Missouri, which was the footage from the Lake of the Ozarks, where there was that sign that says "Stay 6 feet apart," and it's people just fucking Hieronymus Bosch painting going on, just everybody. You can reset these rules and people aren't going to follow them. I think that's what we've discovered, and it's not a good vibe.
Yeah, I think for some stores they still have it, but in the grand scheme of things, people are just not gonna fucking care. That's kind of just what we've learned since we were fucking young. People just don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I was honestly surprised, in general, that they were opening up any kind of public pool, and all these people are convinced that 80 degrees immediately destroys the virus. So fucking let's
the pools seem like the least essential things that needs to be open at this moment in time.
Right. It's
also, let's be real, public pools are just gross in general.
Right.
Just period. So
you don't have a friend with a pool? Go to somebody's house. Get it out of here.
It's odd that people want to go to public pools, period, but it's even odder that they want to go to a public pool in heat close with a bunch of people during a virus. But
Better yet, buy a kiddie pool and, do that at your house.
The people that are
take a
probably
cold
wanting.
bath.
That's yeah, okay. Just take a cold bath. Put ice cubes in your fucking bathtub and just soak it. I think pretty much the people that want to have the public pools open are going to be the people that just sit in the chairs with a fucking like bush and just kind of hang out and just say, my body's not really pool ready yet, but it's going to be there. And they slap their fucking stomach like that.
Yeah. Let's just take a summer off from public pools. You'll be okay. So anyway, things are crazy right now still. Last week, I was making fun of how everybody was talking and getting all nostalgic about high school and how we're like, prom's fucking stupid and who cares. By the end of high school, I wanted to quit anyway. Oh, but this week at one point I was just thinking like, there may be some special qualities to the old high school senior year experience. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Can't Hardly Wait, but I think that's a good kind of encapsulation of what I'm talking about. It's kind of it's like the end of high school party, and they're all getting together. Everybody's there. Like the nerds are trying to break in, and then the jock and Jennifer Love Hewitt are breaking up because he's going to college and all that stuff. It's super corny, but that's like, I'm kind of into that. So I don't know. I had like that vibe after I made the comments about high school last week. I was like, I should rescind some of that negative vibe.
Yeah, graduation sucked.
There you go.
Yeah,
and that's the word.
The actual I'm being for real. The actual ceremony sucks. I hate graduations.
Oh,
yeah. The senior walk, totally fine. The ceremony, 3 hours too long. It is. It's. They should just hand everyone their diploma at the same time and be like, all right, cool.
They purposely fucking put me in my own row at our graduation.
Oh, yeah, because you're the only
I was the last fucking person to graduate, so they're like,
oh, shit, yeah, because you're Zope. I was going to say, because, I'm in the W's. So
you got your own row, bud. For me, they're like, fuck you.
That's part of what sucks so bad about it is I'm like the second to last person in the whole ceremony. So I have to sit there and watch 300 people get their diploma before me.
Yeah. I was so just fucking like, I was pissed for the initial like 30 minutes. And afterwards I was just sitting there like, I don't know what the fucking else to do.
And my bad.
Did they clap like the loudest for you though?
Huh?
Did they clap the loudest for you? Because in my class, when they did the last person, they were like, "Yeah,
it's over."
They did that.
Oh yeah, let's get out of here.
Because they also did a thing with one of the teachers at North, because he was retiring at the same year that we were. So when I was last, I kind of I shook his hand and kind of walked with him.
Oh yeah. Okay, here's a worthwhile. Wow, we're going into high school stories again, but. There was a guy who taught at our school. He had a doctorate in what? I don't know.
Physical education? Maybe?
Yeah, we used to say it was just PE. He had a doctorate in PE because he taught all the PE classes, and he had a doctorate, so everybody called him Doc. And Doc, he started every day by walking around school and saying, "It's a great day to be an American." This was the classic quote that nobody from our high school will ever forget.
Yeah, I never even had him, and I am aware of this quote and have heard it often.
Yeah.
You'll just shout in the hallway. You'll just be walking the hallway and be like, "Great day to be an American."
And Josh and I, only a couple of classes that Josh and I actually had together was a class with Doc. We took the illustrious course known as fitness walking, in which you walk around the track for an hour. And
that's it. That's all you got.
That was
it.
But the hour always started with him calling roll. and he had a penchant for using the most offensive possible things to remember people. There was like an Asian student that he just called Ninja. There was a Latino kid that was Taco. I was Newspaper Man, despite being AKA Mr. Newspaper, just because I was on the journalism staff. I didn't even work on the newspaper, but I was Mr. Newspaper. And Luke Dykes will still call me that sometimes because he thought it was the most hilarious roast. And on the last day of high school, I had his final for walking fitness, of which he, like I said, the whole class was just walking around, but he just made up a test to give everybody for the last day of high school and his last day teaching too. That was like all of these questions about like the circulatory system and your lungs and stuff. And you're like, we had never talked about any of this. And I exempted that test. Tried to leave, but he wasn't there. Like he wasn't there to take roll at the beginning of the last class of his entire career. And so I come up to him as soon as the bell rings. I'm like, hey, I'm not taking this test, so can I leave? And he was just like, no, the bell already rang. I'm like, dude, you were not here. And eventually he just kept giving me grief about it until I asked like the fourth time, and he finally let me go. He's like, but you better run. Anyway.
That's it. That's a
fucking. Told you to run.
Yeah, told me to run away from his class, and then the hall monitor, who's supposed to be stopping and like seriously punishing anybody who's caught in the hallways during this extremely important finals time, was just walking around in the hallway on his phone. I passed him and he goes, "Where are you supposed to be?" And I just pointed the classroom next to me. I'm like, right here. And he's like, all right. Later. That was my last day of high school. Good stuff.
I don't even really remember my last day of high school now that I'm thinking about it.
I feel like, having been to university, when you look back on the fact that we had finals and stuff in high school, you're like, what was the point of that? Like, high school was such a breeze in comparison that it's just like, what?
Well, the thing is, like in college, you have it like still organize your finals, but when in high school, they just fucked up your schedule when it was final time. Like you'll have your third class be your fucking first class Monday for some reason.
Yeah.
Like
that's what made no sense to me, and that never prepared me for college.
But the finals are odd because
still stupid.
So much content. I don't know. It is really weird looking back at how high school functioned and how very little it prepared us for college. Especially like the AP classes. Like
AP sucks.
AP did absolutely nothing for me whatsoever. If I could go back and not do it, I probably would.
Like, did you not have any AP test scores count towards credits?
Yeah, but that doesn't do anything for me. Like,
it didn't knock out any core requirements?
I guess I didn't have to take Intro to English, I think. I don't know. It just, like, the thing that helped me the most was when I did dual enrollment for 2 years with Spanish. That's the only thing that was honestly worth spending money on in high school. But as far as the AP test, I don't know. I just wasn't really worth worrying about it or like doing it really at all. I guess I didn't have to take the final in those classes in high school. So cool for me.
Yeah, I took 3 AP tests. I took statistics, which ended up not mattering. I kind of only took it for teacher. Who was a cool dude. Yeah. But, it didn't matter. because I took you take the math placement test towards the end of high school, and that exempted me from all math that I would have had to been doing in college. So
I was exempt from a history course, but by the time I got to college, I was like, I literally don't know history at all. I couldn't tell you probably a single thing. So I decided to go ahead and take a history class because I felt pretty dumb. Which was good because it was honestly one of the best classes I had taken at that school. And the professor was really cool, and I keep in touch with him still. So it worked out.
Is that your first day? Did they call you dumbass your first day?
Yeah, he was like, you look especially dumb. Like, you really don't know history. So
Sit down, dumbass.
Here, fuck you.
on the U.S. history test, since you take it like 2 months before school ends, and then you just get to kind of vibe in class for the last few months of class, our history teacher decided that, well, the first thing he did was he showed us Forrest Gump, and with the intention of
historical accuracy.
Well,
right?
he showed it to us so that he could make the argument that it was conservative propaganda, which, you know, it kind of is. It's still a nice little movie. All right, here's the deal with Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump does whatever he's told through the whole movie. He's a simple man. He lives like the regular white middle-class American life. He does whatever he's told. He's a simp. He is the kind of the ultimate cinematic simp.
He's a simp.
And then
I have to address that.
You need to address this. That was actually the first thing he said. As soon as the movie stopped, Mr. Fowler was like, number one, Forrest Gump, huge simp.
Pretty simp hours during this movie.
And then you look at Jenny, and her whole path is she wanted to be an artist. She wanted to be the freedom fighter, the activist, the person trying to defend civil rights. She takes drugs. She has premarital sex, and she ends up dead. Whereas Forrest ends up a successfully, invested, home-owning dude. Like it's a document of the 50s and 60s and 70s that kind of shows like America's right if you don't color outside the lines. So that's kind of the general argument against that movie. Again, still a fun, entertaining film, but Jenny is a silly hoe, and I think we can all agree.
But she was diddled.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, cool.
She's the worst. It is too bad that she got diddled, but she is the worst. But yeah, before we go into the usual film segment, I did mention the movie Can't Hardly Wait, which is also, the title is taken from a song by The Replacements. And this leads me into a moment for literature.
A moment for literature. Master Lemonnion requests your presence in the foyer now.
I've been reading Our Band Could Be Your Life. It
Seinfeld's
appears.
taking it over.
Yeah, it's getting all. You gotta get
Did
the light
Seinfeld
right.
write that book?
You got to leave
Yeah, this is great.
There
All right,
it is.
pretty good.
Oh,
All right.
got it.
Good
So
bits.
this book is an account of 13 bands' careers from 1981 to 1991 about the evolution of independent music, DIY music, starting in the early 80s. Every chapter focuses on a different band. I've read about 5 of them. So the first one was Black Flag. The second one was Minutemen. Third one was Mission of Burma, then Minor Threat, and then Husker Du, which is the one I'm in right now. And it's been pretty sick, pretty cool, good bits, good vibes. The Replacements are in there. Yeah. That's why I mentioned them. Sonic Youth, Mudhoney, Beat Happening, Dinosaur Jr., Fugazi.
Those are not the bands I was expecting you to list, but I like every single one of those bands.
Yeah, well, it's the really defining thread is that these are all bands that symbolized and materialized the DIY lifestyle and influenced each other a lot. And also, the book only covers their careers before any of them, if they did, signed to a major label. So, like, you could easily make the argument that REM could be in this book based on the genres of music, the indie stuff, the post-punk and the hardcore and stuff. But since REM was pretty much on a major label since the beginning, even though they're kind of a cornerstone of indie music in the 80s, they're not in the book. It's also like the introduction had a lot of like disclaimer, like there's so many bands that could be in this, but we picked these 13 because of this reason. Mainly that these were bands that like did it themselves. They recorded their own music on their own labels, sent out stuff, distributed their own stuff. And it's really, really great read, especially because I love to like read about a whole career. And since it condenses things like, you know, Minor Threat's entire existence into 50 pages, that's like super doable for me. So I can read through all that and be like, all right, next chapter, new band.
Okay, so like, yeah, they're short chapters. They're not aggressively long, because that's something that kind of I have trouble with sometimes, is like if it's a chapter that's too long. Usually
the chapters are 50 pages. I mean, it's not like you're like, it's 2 sittings for me. Like what I've been trying to get through one every day.
I feel like with a band each chapter though kind of helps that, because it's just a whole new like thing.
Yeah, it's a lot more engaging. It's like watching a TV show, you know, like because it's more easy to jump from episode to episode than if there were no chapter breaks and it was just a 500-page essay about the origins of indie music.
Yeah,
but it's awesome. Yeah, Husker Du is super good. I've been listening to them today.
Fuck yeah, I fuck with Husker Du. Hot take, I'm gonna throw this one out there. I've never been that fucking into Black Flag. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm familiar with their discography and all that, and I absolutely love Henry Rollins. I'm a huge fan of his body of work. And Bill Stevenson, the drummer, who also played drums for Descendants, is like one of my favorite drummers. But for whatever reason, this Black Flag, you know.
They didn't make a lot. I think something that the book conveyed to me was, by the time, you know, Damaged, which is a great album by, I think, and anybody's standards. And I think everybody loves Damaged, right? I mean,
yeah, and My War, of course. My War is like the...
You see, but even so, what the book they were kind of talking about was that by the time they got beyond Damaged, it was like, you know, hardcore was getting repetitive already, and that they didn't really like the scene as much and stuff like that. So they started to, Greg Ginn wanted to get more into like different sounds, and particularly wanted to slow down the music, which you can hear on My War for sure. And I think even then, after My War came out, he was like, all right, I want to keep going in a different direction. And I think his whole thing was he wanted to continue to subvert expectations over and over and over again. So I think their music kind of intentionally wants to challenge you and make you not like it. Like they started out like, which is, I mean, punk ethos in a lot of ways.
That sounds like Henry Rollins in any interview in his life.
But I mean, it's Greg Ginn's band.
Well, I know that, but have you ever seen interviews with Henry Rollins? He's the biggest dickhead in interviews.
I know. There's a great clip. I don't really remember a lot of what he said, but there's a really great interview from the 80s where they're on tour and they're in like Michigan or something, and this like high school Mr. Newspaper was interviewing him. And
what's your new sound? Are you going a little slow, heavy metal kind of? Maybe?
A little bit zany, a little bit wasty.
It's kind of wild. So how's your tour going so far?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Why don't you just hold the microphone and talk? You look like you want to say something.
Okay, man. This is an incredible youth we have here.
He's just annihilating this poor kid who didn't even do anything wrong. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, didn't the kid start talking, or if we're talking about the same one, I think the kid said something a little off color and Henry was not fucking having it.
It was something about like, something about supporting your label mates or something about like being on a major label or something. It was some like dumb thing that, I mean, he's just a high school kid. It's like, I don't think he intended to inflame Henry Rollins's fucking dedication to SST Records. Like,
So what's SST like?
I don't know. What's it like to you?
Well, I don't know. They're your recording company.
Yeah, do you like any of the bands on SST? Do you know any of the bands on the label?
Not too many.
Well, let's see how many you know. Go ahead. Ready, set, go.
I don't pay attention.
We got the Minutemen, Saccharine Trust, Worm, Overkill, Black Flag,
The LA
Worm,
bands?
Brewster, St. Vitus.
Most of the LA
they're
bands.
from all over the place. The Meat Puppets from the desert in Arizona.
Oh, yeah. West.
You like them?
Yeah, they're
What
pretty hot tonight.
did you think of the Meat Puppets tonight? Do you think they support your scene? Do you think they bolster your group? I mean, would you think Maximum Rock and Roll would like those boys?
I think it's just like
You're not even real, bro.
mistake.
You're not even DIY. You didn't even do it yourself.
But Black Flag was the first chapter, and it made a lot of sense that they were, because there was like every other band played with Black Flag, and they toured extensively, and they kind of created the like do-it-yourself tour, like just calling places and getting gigs all across the country, at least the way this book tells it, which obviously very important, key stuff there. Yeah, so that's that book. I just finished Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen, his autobiography, which was pretty cool for the first half. But then after he got out of like his big albums, he kind of just started writing about whatever. Like there was just a chapter that would be like, yeah, and then I took this motorcycle drive with my friends out in the desert one time. It's cool. And I'm just like, I don't really care. I mean, like your writing is good, but it's not about the music, man. How about the music? So there's that. Speaking of talking about the music, time to introduce a brand new segment, A Second for Songs.
This is the music segment. Second for songs. Second for songs. We're gonna talk about some albums. Second for songs. Second for songs.
We've been talking about music so far, but now it's got its own segment. What have you been listening to?
God, I don't know. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of J Balvin, okay? No doubt.
Despacito 2, Despacito 3, Despacito 4.
Despacito
Correct.
10 by this point.
Yes, definitely. I don't know. I've been listening to Broken Bells. That's a thing that's happened to me. If I'm feeling a little bored, I go through Spotify and I click on albums that look cool. So
This looks cool.
that is exactly how I discovered that.
This looks cool.
Sure.
You say Broken Bells, right?
Broken Bells.
I usually, so like my thing is I do like that's Discover Weekly in Spotify, where it just gives you like 30 songs. One of them was from Broken Bells, but yeah, I kind of just vary a bunch of stuff. Like I had a thing last year where I had like a song like at least a song a day I would listen to, because I'd listen to Spotify and like I would pick 7 songs for that week. So I try to do that. So a lot of the music I have is just like varies a lot of different like people.
Yeah, I go through phases where like sometimes I know exactly what I want to listen to and I know like what I'm in the mood for. And sometimes I'm like, I can't hear what I listen to anymore. I feel like I listen to the same thing. And then I go on these binges where I start clicking on a bunch of random albums that I think look cool. And then I'm like, all right, I'm in this. We're in here.
Broken Bells is the project of James Mercer from The Shins and Danger Mouse, the producer. I remember that first album I listened to when it came out, but I have honestly not thought about them since then. So that's cool. I'll have to re-listen to that.
I listen to them more now.
It's Josh's favorite fucking band now.
Yeah, it's my favorite band.
Danger Mouse produced my favorite MF Doom album, Danger Doom. I fuck with Danger Mouse.
Really? Of all the MF Doom albums, that's your favorite?
Yeah, because it's an Adult Swim themed album. Actually, I have a whole list of tattoos that I want to get from that.
A list of tattoos.
Okay,
not just an idea for a tattoo. A list of many.
I don't know how long the list is, honestly.
Get the list tattoo. Don't get the things on the list tattoo. Just get the list. Like
just get a tattoo of the list.
Danger Doom.
Next week, I want that list.
Eric Andre. Number 3,
Eric Andre.
Cannibal Burt. That's what it said.
But I myself this week have been listening to a lot of my favorite bands. I like bands that you can't put into a single category, and I was going back this week and revisiting some classic Clutch albums, Blast Tyrant, Robot Hive, Exodus, and the Elephant Riders. I also watched a set from that they played at Mississippi Nights in like fucking 98 or some shit. Clutch, Snarky Puppy, as always. I was kind of bummed out because I got a Facebook notification for a concert I was supposed to go to, which is The Darkness, which was probably the one I was most excited for. Yeah, probably the one I was most excited for this year besides Rage and Run the Jewels. And so I was a little bummed about that. So I had myself a little festival at home. I ate some party favors, and I had myself a little concert. I watched a Snarky Puppy set and jammed out at home. It was nice.
Album came out this week that shook the world. Carly Rae Jepsen's Dedicated Side B came out this week.
Shit, dude.
Its shockwaves radiated throughout the Target stores of the world. The music industry will never be the same again. Legitimately. Dedicated, Carly Rae Jepsen's album Dedicated from last year was my unabashed album of the year from last year. It's fucking so good. The songwriting is so good. The production rather, is really catchy, really interesting, good old-fashioned pop tunes. It's not as good as the original album because it doesn't have the singles, but any song on there is pretty much as good as the album cuts, the deep cuts on the original album. So I thought that was pretty cool. Well, very cool. Very, very cool. Thank you, Kanye. I think we should return to this segment in future episodes. But for now, it's time for films.
Time for films. Parasite, Midsommar, Jean-Luc Godard, Robert Eggers sucks. This is the Time for Films theme song. It's over.
All right, there's a few things we all watched. The first of which being the Middleditch and Schwartz specials. Maddie, what did you think of Middleditch and Schwartz?
So, listen, I won't lie. I was a little off-put at first. But once I got into it, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was cute. You know, it's fun to see them, like, figure it out, like, you know, how everything's going to go and, like, kind of see the wheels turning. So I liked it. Is there going to be more, or is it just 3 episodes?
Well, they tour, or at least they did before the world ended. But, yeah, I mean, they have, like, a sold-out national tour. They sold out, like, Carnegie Hall and the whole thing. So you'd hope that they would continue doing it, but they're both guys who do a lot of stuff. You know, they're in so many different TV shows and movies and other projects and stuff. So you'd hope so.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting. I mean, by like, you know, near the end of it, you do just basically kind of lose track of everything, just like basically they do. It's hard to keep up with actually like the acknowledgement of every character's like characteristics of them and everything like that for fucking like 40 minutes straight. But other than that, it is really enjoyable. It is nice to see, yeah, like what Maddie said, to see like that progression that they have. They see you know, to just see everything kind of forming in itself as the minutes progress.
Did you watch the other 2 episodes?
No, I just watched the one we watched.
Okay.
Was that the first one?
No, we watched the 3rd one.
Okay. I thought that the first one was the best, and also fucking impressive. I mean, I've always thought that First of all, improv's hard, and especially on that scale. And the fact that they could nail down so many characters, which I agree, Josh, that is one of my favorite parts of that is when they lose a character because they're playing like 20 different characters, and they're like, your name was
Yeah. It's they miss a character or they flip characters and they forgot they did.
And then, like, I know it's a usual thing in improv, but I thought the use of the chairs was fucking brilliant. With running around doing the whole thing, especially I guess you didn't watch the first one, but there's a part where there's a character in the first episode named Short Paul. In Short Paul, the one of them will be standing on a chair and Short Paul is looking up at them, and then he keeps purposely switching to the other character, so he keeps having to move back and forth between the two chairs, and he's like, don't fucking do it. Like, I don't want to move again.
Yeah, I thought
the first one was the best.
The first one was great, but I like the second one. I like the second one the most because it got so fucking gonzo by the end. Like, and that one also had the most clear, like, challenges, I think, that they had to overcome. Like, there's the specific part in the second one where there's that door that they're going to open, and Ben Schwartz is like doing a fucking, like doing the monster thing, and Thomas Middleditch is like, I don't want to go down this path. Like, let's not do this. Like, he just breaks character. He's like, let's not do that. And I think that makes it so much so interesting that they're willing to get all meta with it and kind of break through the how do you say break the fourth wall, I guess.
There are a couple times that they do that, and then also the use of space. That's a big fucking stage, and they really move around.
It's kind of wild. Like, when I think back on like watching it, like, there's more imagery in my head than what is actually there. And it's kind of cool how they can like set up this whole like scene that doesn't exist, but I can see it in my head, like what's happening and what these characters are. And I can see that they're different characters, even though it's not like on stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the use of like the limited equipment they have and actually tell something of a story and make it to where you can see an environment is really impressive.
Yeah.
I was listening to a Comedy Bang Bang episode that they were both on about a month ago when this came out, and they were talking about how like it was a cool thing for them to do as a representation of their show and like their skills and everything, but they also felt like they wanted to do something very different, which was to actually film a long form improv and distribute it on Netflix, because like obviously stand-up specials are all over Netflix, but there's not really any filmed improv.
No, I've never seen any.
Definitely not on Netflix. I know there's like UCB or like Upright Citizen Brigade. That's the same thing. There's UCB and like Second City stuff, I think, out there, like especially with older casts, like older shows and everything. But like as for right now, that is kind of the a gateway for long form improv on Netflix, which is pretty cool. So
I feel like as if that seems like that might be a good trend to follow now, especially because to me personally, I feel like we kind of have like a stand-up like a fatigue to me. It just seems like we just keep seeing this, a lot of the stand-up. They're different people, but I feel like as if improv would be a nice addition to an actual like that listing for Netflix.
Yeah, that too, in addition to what we were talking about the other week with comedians independently putting out their own specials through their YouTube, like Sam Morril and Mark Normand. It's nice to see a shift in the medium.
So Middleditch and Schwartz, we can hand down the ratings. I didn't really think about this too hard. I didn't really think about a rating to give Middleditch and Schwartz, but I'm actually gonna go like for a fair 4.
Yeah, I hear loose 4. It was 4 out of 5.
Yeah, mine may change because I haven't watched the other ones, but yeah, I'd actually agree with that.
Wow, everybody's just fucking copying me, not thinking for themselves. They don't know anything about Black
If
Flag.
you want my
fucking
real,
people.
honest answer, I would give it like a 3.75. Okay,
You can't do that. You can't do that.
So I don't know what to tell you.
You
I
gotta put
rounded.
Just because you said
Dan, you gotta put the decimal in there because you know what, I gotta not agree with Maddie. I go with the 4. You don't have to do decimals for me. I'll make Maddie the problematic one.
No conflict.
As usual.
No conflict.
We also all watched a couple great films. There was one that was called Alien Arsenal, which was like a low key kind of a banger.
It went off.
Yeah.
Especially when dude comes, nerdy guy, like gets new clothes and
he gets
he's
cool,
just, like hot 90s guy.
But it's flat out embarrassing, like NSYNC cosplay level.
Hey,
What the hell happened to you?
I sold some of my comic books. I decided it was time to get some decent clothes. And I got contacts too.
You sold your comic books?
Yeah.
The plot of this movie is these kids are in a introduction to manual labor class at their high school and unearth an alien bunker underneath their school.
It's otherwise known as child labor in this country now.
Not in the 90s, dude. No rules.
Different time back then.
They discover alien RoboCop outfits that are a spray painted bicycle helmet and like some other PVC and stuff. And then they become superheroes and they threaten bullies as RoboCop. It's like that scene from Back to the Future where he scares his dad by pretending to be Darth Vader. It's like that for an entire movie, kind of.
Yeah, the funny part about those costumes is like at the beginning of it, they have their voice changed. But then later on in the movie, it's just they fucking threw that out the window. They just have regular ass voices.
And there's the jock that he bullies into becoming studying more, and it's like this whole gambit to get him to stop messing with him, and steal his girlfriend. But at the end, he decides the most mind blowing part was that there's the best friend girl, and the whole time you're like, okay, duh, they're gonna end up together. The tomboy best friend girl and the main nerd dude, and he's like into the jock's girlfriend.
Speaking of women, Ralph, when are you going to find you somebody?
No, don't start again, okay, Baxter?
Hey, I'm just trying to give you some credit. I mean, you're not a monk, right?
Well, maybe there is one person.
No kidding, who?
Oh, somebody.
Felicia St. Clair? Dude, forget it. She's head cheerleader. And she's popular, and she's dating about 250 pounds of bad meat.
Flash Gunderson.
But at the end, when he saves the day, he doesn't end up with his friend. He ends up with the girlfriend that he coveted. It's like, what? This is a total subversion of the genre.
Yeah, you're nuts. But you did sort of save the world.
I cannot believe it was you the whole time. You should have said something earlier.
Why?
Because we could have gotten to this part a whole lot sooner.
Crazy.
And the funniest part is that you're even more led to believe that because the tomboy is more attractive than the jock's girlfriend.
You heard it here first. Josh is single and ready to mingle with an actress whose name I will look up.
This set doesn't come cheap. That's all I'm saying.
Also, the alternative title for this movie, it was Teenage Alien Avengers.
I think Alien Arsenal makes the most sense.
It does.
Yeah. Or maybe 1 month after the shooting in Columbine.
Oh my God.
Yo, yeah.
Columbine Part 2.
There's scenes where they're walking around school with a duffel bag full of alien guns at school. They're using their new alien guns to threaten people that picked on them. It's really uncomfortable.
But it's still funny.
The actress, her name was Danielle Hoover.
All right, Danielle.
J. Edgar Hoover.
Meet me at the set.
At the
daughter
office.
that was dated by the Irishman that I met.
Now, although I slept through a grand total of probably 30-ish minutes of the movie, I did like it better.
The sleep pattern is deferring from you.
Yeah, I was exhausted. Okay, but the movie was better, I felt like. So it's solid 2.
I'll give it 2.5.
It's like a strong 2.5. It's like bordering on a 3 for me.
I think I would go with a 3, actually.
Oh, shit. Danielle Hoover.
Yeah, just because Danielle, she bumped it up a couple points.
Yes. And the one other one that I wanted to talk about was
Lovebirds. Yeah, okay.
Starring Kumail Nanjiani and Issa Rae, I think is how you say her name.
Yeah.
Feel free to correct me, Issa, if that is wrong. Tweet at me.
Issa Rae.
Disarray. just in disarray. Fine. Totally fine. Actually,
yeah,
I thought it was
dialogue. Pretty straightforward. It was Michael Showalter. It's directed by Michael Showalter, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I was going to talk about that after this. But yeah, I thought it was pretty straight up. I'm going to go ahead and throw my rating out there right now. Solid 3, because just a fucking, yeah. It's a movie. I was entertained. I thought there were good bits, you know?
Yeah.
But the one thing that I do like, because I heard Kumail talk about this specifically in a round table, is that pocket of being typecast, especially for a person of color, particularly someone who's Pakistani.
Yeah.
And how he basically said that I don't know that I would love to be cast as, the lead and, in action. I don't want to be cast as like the IT guy, So it was nice to see him actually get a role as an action lead.
I think, it's more of a romantic comedy than an action movie.
But I mean, he's doing he does some stunts.
He's going to be in a superhero movie, and that's why he got all jacked and everything, which is a little disturbing, having been a fan of him for a while. This looks like a different dude. I thought the dialogue was good, like above average, like very funny lines. And the actual narrative itself, I thought was pretty lackluster. Like, it reminded me a lot of that movie Date Night with Steve Carell and Tina Fey, which I remember liking. Or also Game Night with Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman. But yeah, I think there was a lot of improv involved, a lot of little riffing going on. I think that's kind of Michael Showalter's little flavor, because I don't think I think I've seen everything he's directed now, and I really love him as an actor and writer and comedian and stuff, but it didn't really feel like his movies have been so, like, there's no like real overt style or anything. So I guess it's just kind of his working with these comic actors to be a little bit funnier in these performances. And I think Kumail and Issa Rae were both really good. So
oh yeah, they definitely had good chemistry.
Light 3 for me on Lovebirds.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Final segment. Y'all already know what it is.
It's time for films. That's questions that plague mankind.
Who am I? Where do I belong? Where is the path? Questions that have plagued mankind.
Good bits on the podcast. Always good bits.
Always.
The first one comes to us from Brandon, and he says, ways of do-it-yourself toe amputation. That's it. It's a question. So what are ways of doing that?
Free clippers.
What I thought, what my first thing was you build a little guillotine specifically designed for which toe you're going to amputate, and then you just you just get the deed done.
Construct a small guillotine.
And that's it, yeah. And have someone else pull it, because then you don't know when it's coming.
See, DIY, this is kind of what Black Flag was a major, influence in the DIY crowd, the DIY circle, DIY punk hardcore music. So we're going to throw it over to Henry Rollins to give you a full tutorial on how to amputate your toe.
You know what selling out is? Selling out is taking a load of shit from a bunch of lackey people who don't do nothing except do shit like this, you know?
So you're against this kind of shit?
I'm just against stuff that smacks of just complacent crap, non-moving people. They're like leeches. They just like sit and hold on to you and suck on you for a while. It's kind of like a drowning pool.
And we're back.
Thanks.
Really, really compelling stuff.
I think you know what? Henry probably answered it for all of us. You know? So, you know what? I think that's solved.
I think he's coming out with a new EP soon called Small Guillotine.
I was thinking toe amputation. That's what I thought it was going to be. But, you know, he works in mysterious ways. Who knows? So, the next question comes to us from Andrew, and he says, can I microwave a cereal box? He has some subtext here. He says, I want to make popcorn in my microwave, but I realize I don't have any containers suitable for that. So I got the bright idea of putting it in an empty enclosed cereal box that fits in my microwave. Will it work like that? I have to microwave it for 3 minutes, but I have no idea whether it's safe. I don't want something to burn.
You know, that's a really valid question that I would love to know
plausible.
I just want to know, like, did he crunch it up the fucking cereal box to where it like just has like a...
Yeah, does it have to be like sealed properly? Like, does there need to be a seal around the kernels for it to work in the microwave?
The bags aren't sealed, you know, because it has that little gap for air, you know, for the hot air to be released.
The only thing I would be concerned about
opens after, like, once it starts heating and expanding on the inside, I don't really know how that works.
Another question is, do you have to, you know, because they have the butter on the sides of the packaging, do you have to do that with the cereal box? And so, how do you do that?
Do you have to butter the cereal box?
Do you have to butter the
No,
cereal
man,
box?
you would just put like the oil or like melt butter and put it in the kernels and mix it up in the box, I would assume.
Well, I think when you pop it, if you just butter up this kernel seeds and then you like pop it, the butter just sprays everywhere. So it may not get a lot of it on the popcorn itself.
I have some additional information. I just Google searched things not to put in the microwave. Aluminum foil, paper bags, paper,
okay,
similar. Plastic bags, plastic containers, travel mugs, your favorite shirt, as opposed to your least favorite. That's fine.
That's easy. Yeah, wrap that shit up.
Hard-boiled eggs, hot peppers, red hot chili peppers.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Styrofoam, lidless containers, Chinese takeout boxes, which I feel like kind of goes...
It's like styrofoam.
They have a little metal thing. If you have the one, they got the little metal thing.
Oh,
on
yeah.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
And last but not least, nothing. Don't put nothing
Don't put
in the
nothing
microwave.
in the...
Don't put the
you
word
gotta
nothing in
not
there.
put nothing.
So the last question comes to us from Anonymous, and they say, does French vanilla ice cream sound hot? Yeah, with the French girls and all.
I agree.
I agree too. It was simple.
It does sound sexy. It's like the sexiest flavor of protein powder that I put in my smoothies. French vanilla. Because I'm just thinking about
the French
women. Yeah, French women and vanilla ice cream, and what it would be like to be in France eating vanilla ice cream with some French women
at a cafe somewhere in Paris.
In gay Paris.
French vanilla whores.
I mean, it does make it sound slightly less bland than just vanilla.
It's a different flavor altogether, though.
What about French vanilla bean? I mean, no, that's two things.
I don't want any beans near my vanilla and my French women.
No beans.
I have a strict 0 bean policy.
What if
in fact
coffee beans?
Hmm?
What if the cafe has coffee beans and French vanilla ice cream? Would that be fine?
The aroma of the beans is fine, but the physical beans should be nowhere near my vicinity. It's got to be 6 feet away from me.
What about metaphysical beans?
Oh.
Well, that's one of the songs on Small Guillotine EP by Henry Rollins, coming to Verizon wireless music streaming. You know, his real name is Henry Garfield. Not as cool. He's kind of like the Garfield the cat of hardcore punk music.
I was going to say that. He's just a cat. So, yeah, we got our answer. Sounds hot. Easy.
It does. It's getting me going. French vanilla. Let's hear it.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Audience loves it. Oh, okay. A little bit more. All right. This is the French vanilla gang. You know?
And somebody hands me some coffee creamer and it's hazelnut and not French vanilla. I'm like,
what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Oh, you French waiters and waitresses out there, no hazelnut.
No hazelnut.
French hazelnut.
No hazelnut.
I use hazelnut creamer sometimes, but if I didn't ask for it,
is you mean
Jesus Christ!
A lot of beans in this episode.
Maybe not enough beans, though.
Next episode,
Beans.
bean related. Everything bean.
Only bean-related movies.
We're talking about those
bean-related
pinto beans. We're
music.
talking about the green beans. We're talking about refried beans. We're talking about I can't think of another bean right now.
The Bean from Chicago, the big statue.
Big one.
Soy bean.
We'll take it with us.
Mr. Bean.
No one's there. No one's there to see the bean. We'll take it.
Name 3 bean-related movies.
Mr. Bean.
If you want to continue being on this podcast.
Sean
right
Bean.
now.
Sean the Sheep? What?
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean.
That's one. I mean, that's
a man. That's a man. That's not a movie.
Look.
Got
What's
in the
the
movie?
Jack and the Magic Beanstalk?
I think it's called Jack versus the
Ripper.
Giant or some shit. It's called BFG. It's called Big Fucking Giant. You ever see that one?
No, it's just called Beanstalk.
Big fucking giant made by Disney.
Seriously,
Yes.
that was a movie directed by Steven Spielberg. Big Fucking Giant.
Whoa!
All right, it's over. The podcast is over. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a great time. Stay safe out there. Soundboard is not working out so great. Bye.